Oh, God. Oh, my God.
It would be not a cage match without the christening of a fucking Sparkle Buddy going off. Also, speaking of Sparkle Buddies, thanks for being patrons, and hooray for our new top-level tier patron.
Not
Ira.
sure what that is. Yeah, Ira.
Yeah.
Stepped on your name.
We're really appreciative of that. We don't know what we're giving you for being in that tier.
Thank you, Ira. Also, get fucked, Rico. Now someone pays us more than you.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear shit anymore.
I'm gonna cut that.
Suck it. Suck it, Sean.
No, I promised Rico a shout out where I was going to talk mad shit about him today.
Oh, did you really?
Yes.
Oh, then definitely we're keeping that in.
How many patrons are you guys up to now?
We've got 5 patrons.
Oh, lovely. So they covered the
Is it
Sparkle
5?
Buddies.
I think we
didn't
got more than that. We got...
No, 6. We've got 6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's that Matt guy.
Yeah, Matt.
Oh, yeah.
Just talk dismissively about our patrons.
I don't know. Who fucking cares?
The people we like, and then there's that Matt guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
And now
yeah.
we got Ira.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah. And fuck you, Jeremy. I don't think Jeremy listens.
I sort of feel like
Wait, my friend Jeremy? He does not.
Yeah, see?
neither does Andy. I'm sad about that one.
They'll catch up one day on a road trip.
Yeah,
I don't know. Andy listens to us talk all the time.
that's
Yeah.
true. He's done his time.
We don't give our best content
No, that's
on
right.
the podcast.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
I wish I could just be talking about eating ass for everybody here, but
Listen, man, you can talk about eating ass.
just gonna get cut.
Didn't we talk about it last episode?
I don't know,
We did. When it was just you and me, we did talk about eating ass and drinking piss.
Oh yeah.
What?
Fucking millennials.
Wow. So, okay. For everyone who's listening to this, I had COVID for the last episode. So they did a special episode without me. And I'm just hearing all of this now.
Okay, this has to do with the previous movie. What was that one called?
The Humanity Bureau.
Okay.
You know, I was really worried that, I was going to listen to that. And I'm like, man, do I not provide anything in this podcast? And apparently I do, which is to not talk about drinking piss and eating ass.
Listen, man, you would have been right there drinking piss with us.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm constantly down to talk about eating ass and drinking piss. Just usually I'm not mic'd for it.
I think this might be our strongest episode yet.
Yeah, we're already pretty good. Let's wrap it up. I'd like to thank our guest Eric. He was fantastic
Great job,
today.
Hey, wait, we're not there yet. We're not
Thank you
there
so
yet.
much. I
Fuck
love
you,
eating
Eric.
ass.
Shut up. Shut up. All right. Hello, welcome back to Cage Match, a roundabout way of meeting Nicolas Cage. I am Sean here with,
Nick, I'm Nick.
and
Hi, I'm producer Peter.
we have a special guest today, our buddy.
My name is Eric. I did COVID too.
Yeah, Eric and I were COVID buddies.
Yeah, how was COVID for you guys?
Great.
10 out of 10, good COVID.
It was my first COVID.
Same.
Great job holding out this far, but
I had a hell of a run.
it was fun. I wished my family away, and they stayed gone.
Yeah, you had a reverse family man.
I did. It was great. I started with the family, and I ended up in my apartment in the city.
I don't know what to make of all this. I thought we gave up talking about conspiracy theories with the 9/11 episode. Bringing all your COVID crap in here.
So today we have Eric on to talk about his favorite holiday movie, The Family Man.
It is.
Which he just got done bagging on to a second ago, so this is going to be great.
We're going to have him recreate it since the microphone wasn't on yet.
Yeah, it's not as great as what I remember. I'm not as excited after rewatching a couple times. Since I jumped in last week before we were supposed to record, got to rewatch again this morning. It's a good movie. It's just it's not that exciting. There's not that much. There's opportunities for more slapstick, but they just never do it.
So yeah, we're talking about that, and Peggy Sue Got Married. 2 pseudo wish fulfillment time travel films.
Yeah, so I mean, what I'm thrilled about is that it really does open us up to the concept of multiple timelines in the NCU. So really, anything fucking goes.
It's phase 4,
This
baby.
theory works.
Early and mid-career, similar premise that just happened to pan out with the seating.
And again, just another weird, everything kind of lines up situation.
Speaking of the seating, Peter, what are we doing here again?
Right. So, cage match. This is a roundabout way of meeting Nicolas Cage, wherein Nick and Sean are going to evaluate 64 Nicolas Cage movies head to head, March Madness style, whatever you want to call it. And we will determine the best, cagiest, most enjoyable, rewatchable movie that we possibly want to do. And by the end of it, we're going to watch our favorite movie with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, I like how this has escalated.
Yeah, now I have to say that every time.
I thought we were just going to get tattoos of the movie poster on our butts, but
Oh, yeah.
I'm in.
yeah. Well, I know you're in.
Peter, it'll be your first tattoo.
I'm into that.
Awesome. All right. Now there are stakes.
Yeah. It's going to be really weird when we meet Nick Cage now.
What's going to be super weird when
Especially because mine's a face tattoo.
Oh, no.
Face on the face.
You need the face-off tattoo with the crack being the split.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah. So, Eric, what's The Family Man about?
We start off with Nick Cage and Tia Leone. I'm terrible
Kate.
with
So,
names.
Nicolas Cage plays Jack Campbell and Tia Leone plays Kate Reynolds.
There you go. They're at the airport when they're college sweethearts. He's about to go off to London. She begs him to stay. He goes on. Cut to Nick Cage, apartment in the city. Not tidy blackies is what he's wearing, the power undies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, while he's singing opera?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Living his best life. I mean, he's just...
He did
he's-
still keep it tight. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he's in a penthouse. As far as Nick Cage bodies are concerned,
Harry.
This was my first note from this movie, Sternum Bush.
It's bad.
We track these films based on the amount of chest hair Nick Cage has.
You guys really don't want to see the spreadsheets that I keep.
So what? Nick is it's Christmas. He's brokering a big deal at his firm. He's the president of the company or something along that line. He's at least number 2 behind the old man. They break from the big Christmas meeting. Hey, yes, we're working on Christmas, but we're gonna make a lot of money, and goes into the bodega to get some eggnog to dribble on his. He's gonna dribble that on his lady later, right?
Oh yeah, that was my favorite quote in this one actually was
Dribbling nog.
yeah, well, so this woman is like you should come back over tonight. He's, it's Christmas Eve. He goes, so I'll pour eggnog all over you.
Right, but I didn't know he was gonna he goes to the bodega and he's like, eggnog.
You don't make fresh eggnog for that? You don't go out of your way for that one?
Some people do, and yeah. And I think you should, because that's the good stuff. But
she wasn't really worth it, I don't think.
Okay, so he goes for the eggnog, and that's when he runs into Don Cheadle, who
Plays
is
Cash.
Captain Planet. His Captain Planet sketch was the best. I don't know if you guys remember that. But
I do.
Tree. You're a tree. They're all trees.
So what? Don Cheadle is trying to cash his lotto ticket. His name's Cash. He's dressed like...
I thought he was trying to reaffirm stereotypes.
He was. That's why he was dressed like
Oh my God,
Jamie
was-
Kennedy in Malibu's Most Wanted,
There's a reference for you. That'll date us.
which was great.
We're all almost 40.
Nick Cage comes in there, saves the day. He's never a bad guy, right?
Well, why does he save the day? Because he's going to cash his lotto ticket, and the Asian bodega owners have a problem with that.
He gets a racism, and he's not allowed to cash his lotto ticket because of the racisms.
In their defense, he does pull a gun immediately.
Really quick. Smoke your blunt first. And then, he's got the cigar handy.
I feel like this is an opportune time to mention this movie was directed by Brett Ratner.
Yeah. Famous of the rush hours.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought he also did Malibu's Most Wanted.
Oh, no, he's just a terrible human being.
So
I don't know. I love the rush hour movies.
I do too, but Brett Ratner is not a good person.
But rush hour.
Allegedly.
Yeah, okay.
That's how you can get Nick on board anytime.
Yeah. There's wiggle room now.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
What? So Nick Cage stops the violence. What? He wasn't going to rob the place. He just wanted to cash his lotto ticket.
Yeah.
But he was gonna go buck wild, I think. And that's when Don Cheadle, he hints that he's magic at that point, and he's like, "You got something coming. You got something coming, Jack."
He hints that he's magic.
Yeah.
Well, so Jack,
I mean, you're not wrong.
Jack's like, you shouldn't be doing this. You should be like, if you work real hard, you can make something of yourself, and does the whole white savior thing, and Cash is just like, Oh, you're trying to save me? You got everything? And Nick Cage is like, yeah, I got everything. It's like, all right, well, remember, you asked for it.
Yeah, totally. Then he goes to sleep that night, wakes up in someone else's bed. He's got a wife. The kids run around. Full chaotic family situation. It's Christmas Day.
What if, and I'm just going to ask this question into the wind, what if instead of seeing his life, if he had stayed with Kate or come back, not gone to London, what if he just traded places with Don Cheadle? And then we got a movie of Nick Cage just gangbanging and living the struggle while Don Cheadle gets to drive around the Ferrari.
So you're like trading places. You're just talking trading places?
Yeah, I mean, if we have to talk about trading places or Scrooged, we're pretty much just talking about Scrooged at the moment.
Okay.
His assistant, when he's still like the big hotshot executive.
Oh, with the Mark Davis hair?
Yes, exactly. That's Mary Beth Hurt, who formerly was married to William Hurt, but then married Paul fucking Schrader.
Oh, gross.
So that's
Schrader returns.
That explains the haircut. She can't afford a better one.
What this?
That was
this
a
is just...
that was a $5 million haircut. That's the budget.
Well, what? So where were we? We're in a family scene.
Yeah.
He wakes up in bed.
Nick Cage is gangbanging downtown.
He's
and-
So wakes up in a house in Jersey, which is terrifying for a man in the city.
Terrifying for anyone, really.
I mean, I've been to the Newark airport. That's my entire Jersey experience. It's the worst airport that I've ever been to. Hayden agrees. He understands. Is Hayden a Patreon?
No.
Oh, okay.
We actively bleep his name out now.
Yeah. Edit that out.
He's had enough chances.
It's gonna be quacked out.
Yeah.
Ever since he like stood behind me while I was watching Leaving Las Vegas, he's persona non grata on this podcast.
Nick Cage wakes up in Jersey, freaks out, doesn't like it, runs off. He's gone all of Christmas, which doesn't go over well with the family. Tries to go to his old apartment. Everybody's, you're crazy. Runs into Cash again in the Ferrari. Cash has his Ferrari.
Yeah, has Nick Cage's Ferrari.
Tells him the rules. You're going for a glimpse. You get a little trip back to see how things could have been. And then he gets to live his life in Jersey for a little bit. He hates it at first, comes around, finds it fulfilling at the end, and then doesn't want to go back to the Playboy lifestyle. Is the long and short?
Yeah.
That's the film. And it has just as many jokes as that synopsis.
They don't do much with it.
They don't lean into the comedy aspect of the weird like body swap.
They really could do a lot more with that, I agree.
So here's my immediate question.
I can't think about body swapping without penis swapping technology anymore.
face off.
Yeah. Genital swap.
Speaking of which, all right, I'll just talk about this now. Travolta was supposed to play this role at one point. They have the same penis as we've discovered in episode 1.
Yeah, at least in girth and length.
Do you guys have you guys ever met your penis twin?
I'm sorry, what?
Identical dicks. You've never...
Idictical.
Polydictyl? No, that's when your dick has a thumb.
Oh, Jesus. I don't like that.
Think of how utilitarian it would become.
No, I think if anything, I just want like a hand on my chest. I think that's what I want. Because then it could like hold my phone for me and I don't know, it simplifies everything. Sandwich hand.
I thought you meant that in like a tender way. Someone just touching your chest.
No, just growing out of my sternum to help while I'm whacking off. Quacking off. A family podcast here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is definitely for the youths.
Yep.
But no, my question about any of these movies is, there's been a Jack who's been raising a wife and kids. The daughter's the only one who clues into that this Jack isn't her dad. What happened to that Jack in the meantime? So is this a parallel universe, or is it just like a coma dream?
I think it's more coma dream.
Yeah.
So there are no consequences to his behavior?
No, those kids
only on his
snapped
soul
out of existence when he went back to his real life in the city, right? The kids were just no longer a thing.
It was a fever dream.
which is, and he leaned into that a little bit when he tried to do the affair with the lady that's always giving him the eyes at the Christmas party.
Evelyn.
Yeah.
Evelyn, yes. He's just like,
Evil Lynn.
give me her exact address. I'm going to start my affair now.
I do love how he said that. Also, I love that Jeremy Piven is not the douchiest person in the movie.
No, he is zero bro.
He's a good friend.
He's there. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're gonna mess up a good thing. Whereas, like, if any of you wanted to start an affair, I'd be like, let's do this. I need this for you. Let's make it happen.
Eric has lived vicariously through a couple affair-adjacent things I've been involved with.
It's definitely all the excitement in my life.
Don Cheadle is a magical black man.
Oh, good. I'm glad you said it. Yes, he is a magical black man.
I thought someone already said it in this podcast.
I thought we were tiptoeing around the fact that he's black.
He does make magic.
I mean, is Don Cheadle not black?
You don't get to ask those questions anymore. This is the 21st century. Come on, man. This is all getting cut out.
Almost certainly.
So Don Cheadle is a magical human.
He's probably touched by an angel.
Yeah, they didn't really. What? He's not an angel. He says, Jack, this impressed people high up in the organization. It's just like I don't know. He's just got a supernatural job.
It's got some great perks. He gets to drive other people's Ferraris.
Yeah.
He gets to punk their asses in their Ferraris.
Yeah.
He probably works for the TVA, and this is actually tying Nick Cage into the MCU.
I got that.
There's
reference.
variants and stuff.
I got it.
Yeah.
We're there. It's a Loki thing.
MCU, NCU.
Yeah. It gets confusing now.
Yeah.
It was never confusing before, but it's confusing now.
Now that Nicolas Cage is involved.
Ooh, an all Nicolas Cage movie. Just Tyler Perry's the shit out of it.
Back in our running days, what was the movie universe we wanted to make with all the Rob Schneider characters? The Schneiderverse.
Yeah,
Everything is a Schneider cut.
Yeah.
the Schneider cut.
The animal, the hot chick.
Eric, why did you like this movie? What?
Yeah, what
Sorry.
originally made you
So
interested
originally,
in
this
this?
was a Christmas movie that my brother and I would enjoy together every year. And my brother, who is a crazy person, just loved it more than anybody else. So I don't know. We'd get together, we'd watch this movie, and over the years, just really built it up in our heads that it was bigger Cage, that it was more cagey than it was. But it's really not. It's just kind of like it's a solid family film.
It's also a solid 2 hours, which it didn't need to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, what he learned lessons. They were valuable. He, found out what he wanted in life.
I feel like he was forced to find something in life that he was fine not having. Because as soon as he wakes up in Jersey, the first thing that happens is a giant dog jumps on the bed, and then 2 kids come into the room screaming, jumping up and down, it's Christmas, it's Christmas. And all I can think is, this man has made every right decision up until this point. Don Cheadle's character is an asshole. I'm also the only single person at this table, so I'm just saying, his life in the city seemed so much better than before he had kids.
Well, right, and he spends most of the film just trying to get back to the life in the city, try and integrate it into the family life. Can I have both things?
Yeah.
Tries that out. It doesn't work because mainly Tia Leone was being manipulative there. That was one of my favorite quotes. It was great. She's like, I support you, Jack. If you need the kids to give up a life that they love.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good dig.
I was like, oh man, this is a trap, Jack. Don't do it.
Don't bite. Don't bite. I got a question for you guys. There's a lot of pajamas in this movie. Pro, anti-pajama.
I got a question for you guys real quick before we answer that.
All right.
Pajamas or pajamas?
Ooh.
I just go with PJs. I'm not going to pick a
I
set.
would say
Yeah.
pajamas, but I don't know why.
Pajamas?
I do like pajamas because I like saying pajaman.
Yeah, pajaman.
But if you say pajaman, you can act more Jamaican.
Which I know you've been trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's the only person here with like skin pigmentation. That's you know what? It's fine. I can say pajaman.
Yeah, pajaman.
This is the episode that gets me canceled.
because
And
you
we
can.
hope you like pajaman too. Okay, what was your... Oh, wait, Eric, what are you? Pajamas or pajamas? before we get into this serious question?
I want to be a pajama person, but I think I go with pajama when I have to. But I'd like to change that. So what? The family man.
There was a lot of pajamas in this movie. You were saying
there's a lot of pajamas. It took them a while to get comfortable sleeping with the one that got away, which I thought was weird.
Right?
This is the one that got away. I apologize for that.
She has the shower scene, and he's just like, "Oh no!"
Yeah.
I mean, she was really getting into it in that shower too.
A little. It was a little much.
That ass crack is clean. She was elbow deep scrubbing that thing out.
She was committing to the shower scene. She was frothing that ass.
It's known.
Frothing?
It's known that Tara Leone is filthy.
That ass is frothing.
Oh yeah. It makes a different sound when it's frothing.
More concerning one.
So what? In the end, he doesn't want to go back to real life. He has to go back to real life. The kids are dead at that point.
Yeah, never existed.
Yeah.
Fucking terrible.
Yeah,
they're Schrodinger's children.
Yeah.
They both are and aren't.
You loved these things, and they're gone.
Yeah, never existed.
I never could exist too at this point.
Oh yeah, no, that egg and those sperm are long dead. Left in the womb of some barren flight attendant.
Well, and that's where
The dream.
He goes back.
Peter's face there was amazing.
He finds her at the end.
Hayden, no.
He convinces her not to get on a plane to go to Paris.
Oh, it has that great scene from every film pre 9/11 where he just like shows up at the airport and runs right to the gate.
Run to the gate,
yeah.
do your speech, and man, hats off to her for not being like, you are a crazy person.
Well, she did the same thing in the beginning.
Well, right, but he goes into this alternate life speech. It's like,
oh yeah,
this
well
is
that
the
is a little
imaginary
crazy.
life we could have had together.
How about the guy who was like just over her shoulder through the whole thing, and he's just kind of like side-eyeing back at them, like, the fuck? Why am I still standing next to these crazy ass white people?
See, here's
liked him.
Here's the only way that makes sense is if she also got a glimpse, if like Cash pulled double duty.
No,
Because the fact that she's just like, you've really thought about this. We haven't talked in 13 years, and suddenly you're talking about kids we never had, and I'm about to go to Paris. No, I'll stay and have coffee.
he paints a pretty picture. I mean,
Does he?
kinda.
I mean-
But still, if I were her, I'd be like, he's crazy. I'm getting on the plane.
Yeah, somebody tase him, please.
Hey, bye. Like immediately when they first met, and she's like, "Hey, maybe you meet with me in Paris. You know,
Yeah.
If you're in Paris sometime, say hi."
Yeah, I would have just gotten on a plane.
Yeah, the way he looked in that scene too, it's like she obviously never expects him to be able to afford to go to Paris in like a Carhartt jacket and stuff, like
You are stuck here.
boots unlaced and everything. I liked that when he entered that apartment, the first thing he does is he just knocks over a thing of marbles, and then there's movers like carrying a couch out, and Kate's just like, "Oh, don't worry about the marbles," and it's like, what? Fucking worry about those marbles. Those motherfuckers are gonna die.
That was a
movers.
perfect time for slapstick. They
Yeah.
didn't
She
lean
clearly
into
doesn't
it.
care about her employees because it's Christmas and she's making her ex-personal assistant like
Well, that's not her employee. That's her ex-employee.
fair. You know what? You're right.
I know. That's why I do this podcast. To be right at least once every other week.
The details, man.
Yeah.
What's your favorite quote from this film, Mary?
let me get to my note. One of them was when he got the dirty talk wrong. They're on the stairs. They're about to about to do it.
They're covered in cake.
Yeah, and he goes with, "You're a bad girl, baby. You make me so hot," which I thought was a great try.
Yeah, it was good.
It's like that's
I like that she gets like, "What did you say?"
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's just laying there like, "You make me hot.
yeah, that's hot.
Come on."
I have to say my favorite one is when he's back at his apartment in the minivan and like the security guard isn't letting him in and
Oh yeah, Tony's a real dick.
yeah, and then the woman the old lady he flirts with in the elevator every day.
Mrs. Peterson.
Mr.
Yeah.
Peterson's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "Well, we're on the co-op board together, Betty, and we fought side by side for garbage disposals, and every morning we share quasi-sexual witty banter."
Yeah, it's weird too because she's just like an old lady. It doesn't seem like something in character for him to even be making those passes at her because he's just so up his own ass.
Yeah.
I liked it though. It was fun.
Yeah, just like when are you gonna let me in on that? And she's just like, you couldn't satisfy me.
I think that's what rich people do. You can flirt like really aggressively.
Sure. Just like having a work flirt.
Yeah, absolutely.
My favorite quote came after Cash gives Nick the little bell, and he's like, "What? Are you gonna come if I ring this?" And Cash just looks at him. So he gets home and he's got the bell, and he's standing in the kitchen, and like things aren't right, and he's just like ringing the bell, and then the little girl comes and like says, "Oh, I like it," and takes the bell.
Well, she's on her new bike.
Yeah, and rides away on her bike, and Cage is like, "That's mine. She took my bell." It's like, you sad, defeated man.
Hey, I need that back.
Your bell that summons the magical Don Cheadle, and
you're better than me.
Everybody knows that I'm full of woke speak.
Say sex worker, Nick.
Sex worker.
Oh, you're gonna enjoy our sidebar episode.
Oh my goodness! I wish Don Cheadle could have been a pimp.
Oh man, that would have been too on the nose.
I do like that when he's like first getting in with that.
If he had gone from gangbanger to pimp, it's just like, wait a minute.
To bodega clerk.
I do like when he's first getting in with the kids though, and he's just like, "You're not gonna start crying. I don't think I can deal with that right now."
Yeah, that little girl was cute.
Yeah,
she stole scenes. She was good.
No, this is definitely in the good kid camp. Along with Hand Pan.
Yeah, Pan and this kid, pretty good.
I did have to see a little kid pee out of his penis, though.
That was authentic.
Oh, yeah.
They
were straight on. Do that.
So did anyone find out how long he was glimpsing for?
It seemed like a long time.
Yeah, it took him a while to learn his lesson.
Like the better part of a
he did
year.
like most of a bowling league.
Yeah, so it was 8 weeks because it was between Christmas and it was right after Valentine's Day gets zapped.
That seems like an adequate amount of time to learn such a large life lesson.
Again, I'm not
I don't
sure
learn
it's
things
a lesson
quickly.
he needed.
The lesson is that Jeremy Piven is a fucking bro.
Dude,
Yeah.
and how cool was his little like home bar and everything? He had like little titty mugs and stuff like that in the back. And,
Yeah, Jack was not adequately impressed.
Yeah, Jack. Oh, man.
Jeremy's like, check this out. This is a proper dudeoir. And and Jack is just like, yeah, cool room. Cool room guy.
Yeah, nice job, Arnie.
I like when he leads off and like Nick Cage is looking kind of like out of place in the room. And he's just like, I had to move the Barca lounger. People were saying it was too weird in the middle. Okay, that's why Nick Cage seems so out of place right now.
Well,
it's because the Barca lounger got moved
Well, and every
10
time
feet.
Jeremy Piven's just trying to go and like hug his buddy, Nick Cage is just like, I'm gonna fucking punch you.
Oh yeah. Dude, I thoroughly enjoy Jeremy Piven. He could show up in just about anything and I'm like, all right, I know what I'm gonna get here. I didn't this time. This time he was different. And,
I
that's
rewatched
amazing.
the Entourage movie while I had COVID.
Oh,
was a
that's
lot
a choice.
It just happened. I ran
Just the
out
movie.
of titles. Oh, absolutely.
You had brain fog for sure.
Oh my goodness.
There wasn't a lot of fun facts on
No,
this
there's
one.
really not much.
Like, there was the Travolta connection, which I thought was interesting.
Mhm.
And yeah, 8 weeks is how long he was in a coma.
Well, in a coma, he comes back on Christmas Day, so it's not like he was.
There was never an injury. It wasn't.
I'm just saying that's how most of these movies go, including our next one, Peggy Sue Got Married.
Good segue.
Sean, the master of segues.
I'm amazing at segues. You guys only had to do one movie without me. You didn't have to segue.
No,
I feel like we still did have a segue in our episode.
it probably was.
So, Peggy Sue Got Married, starring Kathleen Turner as Peggy Sue, Nicolas Cage as Charlie Bodell. And that's really about it for main casting. Jim Carrey's on this.
Yeah, there were a lot of people in this.
There were, but yeah, none that played like huge parts.
Wait,
So-
who was your favorite third player in this? Because you mentioned there was Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Who else who was your favorite?
I really connected
Additional cast
with,
member.
oh man, it was toss up between Michael and Richard for me. Michael was such an intense artist, and Richard was
Kevin O'Connor?
a dumb genius.
We do have Joan Allen back.
That was my pick for
So,
sure. I love Joan Allen, Archer's wife in Face Off. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she's back.
And in Left Behind.
She was in Left Behind too?
Yeah, remember she was the
She
wife
was
who
the
got
wife?
abducted. I
Oh my
mean,
God. She didn't
taken
even have
away.
like a line.
yeah, I mean, she just complained about her daughter not being Christ-loving enough and then disappeared.
God bless you, Joan Allen.
He did, and took her away. So yeah, that was a fun one. I mean, like, there's so many people on this.
Yeah, no, this movie's got a lot of people. So it's directed by Francis Ford Coppola. So it's got Sofia Coppola in this. Which,
That was my favorite addition.
which
Oh my
every movie
God.
she's in just proves more and more how she cannot act.
She can't
Oh
act
my
for
God.
shit. She's a great director, or at least a fine director, but like
She's a director.
as an
I'm
actress.
gonna walk that one back.
Did she act in this one? Did she?
Yeah,
I saw
she
her
was
twirl the
the-
baton a little bit.
Oh, well,
but
did she act? Okay, that's a
She-
loaded question.
I'm just saying I don't really remember any lines.
Oh no! Oh, my favorite line of hers was when Peggy Sue comes back, sees Nancy, the younger Sophia's character, and she's like, "Oh, so happy," and like hugging her and everything. And Sophia's just like, "Teenagers are weird."
That was a great read.
Yeah, that was actually really good.
Hey,
that was
man.
actually better acted than
Sophia
Sophia
Coppola.
Coppola.
Yeah, I know. I bring this kind of energy to the table.
So the whole premise of this film is Peggy Sue's going to her 25th high school reunion
Which is an odd.
number.
Yeah. Do they do? Is that? Did that used to be a thing? Was the
I've
25th?
never been invited to one, so I don't know what the actual.
I was going to
think
ask
you can,
about that.
You can probably get one every year if you really want to try.
Sure.
But yeah.
So she goes to her 25th high school reunion, taken by her daughter, Helen Hunt. So life's going great. Her dates her daughter. She just
It's
broke
kind of
up.
like taking your mom to prom.
Exactly.
Listen, man, you didn't have mom prom?
Mom prom rom-com. Wait a minute, that implies they're gonna get romantic later.
No.
These are the kind of adult documentaries I watch.
They're
We've all been on Pornhub. So life isn't going well. Her husband, Charlie, played by Nicolas Cage, plays it Charlie. That's
terrible impression of the voice.
God, he's so fucking bad.
Oh, no,
Can
'cause
we,
he
can we
does-
talk
he
about
does
the
really-
voice?
Oh yeah.
We will. I'm gonna recap this first. So
All right,
her husband cheats on her. She goes to her high school reunion. He says he's not gonna show up because it's so important to her. He shows up, and then she is crowned reunion queen. And while on stage, has a heart episode, and then wakes up back in high school. I do like how they subvert the whole adults playing teenagers thing by just not even pretending that they're not adults playing teenagers in this film.
Oh yeah. They just go for it.
Well, because they're all adults at the beginning of the
Yeah.
film, and then like we're
I
just
think
gonna
they
have you
just
play your
made
teenage selves.
everybody look a little older for the beginning so that they could just play their own age as teenagers later.
Yeah,
You know,
It's like, well, you look younger.
I gotta say, like, I
Baby powder in hair.
yeah, right. I mean, it's hokey the way they do old aging, but there's a part of me that really appreciates that versus like digital de-aging or re-aging.
Yeah, I don't love the digital stuff that Disney's been really involved in.
Yeah.
And you know what, Disney, you do you.
you don't want to see a geriatric Harrison Ford play a geriatric Harrison Ford who looks 20.
I mean, I'll take it because
Yeah, I
I
mean-
fucking love the Indiana Jones movies.
Right. But an 80-year-old running doesn't look like a 20-year-old running.
But as evidenced in Nick Cage's fight scenes last week, for those of you who aren't Sean and know what I'm talking about,
I haven't heard it yet.
sucker.
But yeah, so she wakes up and she's back in high school in her senior year before she married Charlie, and gets to do it all over again, but knowing what the future holds. She invents pantyhose to try and make a quick buck. She sleeps.
Well,
with
she
a-
spouts off all these ideas. I
Yeah.
don't think she ever actually accomplishes anything.
I mean, the only thing that really matters is we have a reverse big situation where she sleeps with a teenager.
Fuck yeah.
Okay, so because you brought up Big, now I'm into this. Hang on. But the production's life of this movie is weird because it was in production for a really, really
Yeah.
long time before it ended up going to Francis Ford Coppola. And originally it was going to be a Jonathan Demme movie, which would have been a very interesting, probably better movie.
Francis Ford
a lot.
Coppola made Jack.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like the same thing.
kinda. But then he ended up having these creative differences, and then it went to Penny Marshall, who was the director of Big and League of Their Own.
Yeah. Oh, this was going to be her first like major film.
Right.
And the
then
reason
she
it got
also
taken
had issues.
Well, the reason it got taken away from her is because the budgets start to explode, and producers were like, "We don't trust an untested director to make this film."
I don't know why it even needs that much of a budget.
It's a good point.
I mean, when was this? What year was this?
Vehicles, like managing
86?
the fleet for that drastically different looking vehicles.
1986.
Okay, 86. Well, and then they did some weird stuff for this film. So in the scene where she's like in the car driving through her hometown, which was Petaluma and Santa Rosa, were used for this film. When she's like in the car back in high school driving through the town, it was a San Francisco radio station on the radio, and they paid the radio station to change their programming to fit what they wanted for the film. So that was a live broadcast in the film that she was listening to.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That seems so unnecessary.
I know.
It's above and beyond, for sure.
I mean, it's Coppola.
Yeah. We should trust him because he made Jack.
And he also...
Remember that time Robin Williams had to buy pornos for the first time in that movie?
He also,
Classic.
he also let his nephew play this character. Yeah, so Peter, you wanted to talk about Nick Cage's voice choice in this film.
Yeah, please, can we talk about that? Because like the horny Muppet kind of aspect of it was really fucking me up.
I wrote down Proto-Gary.
Yeah.
So Nick Cage has been playing one character his whole career.
He's got two voices. He's got Bad Boston Cop, which is for any regional like dialect. And then he's got Gary voice for everything else. And then Nick Cage.
So yeah, he...
Three voices.
he
I'm an arithmetician.
He chose this voice. He based it off Pokey from the Gumby Show, accentuated by the fact that he wore prosthetic teeth to have an overbite.
These are good choices. I like it all.
Coppola wanted to fire his own nephew from this film, and Cage convinced him that this was a good choice.
You know what? Peter warned me about the voice. And once I got hit in the face with it, at first I was like giving him benefit of the doubt. It was like this, you know, he's doing a high school version of himself. He's like, oh, I'm a high schooler. But then at the end, he's an old man and he's still doing the same damn voice. Yeah. So that threw that right out the window. So
some of us don't get the convenience of like having our voices age. Some of us are stuck like this forever.
So I didn't realize the Gumby connection, and my note for Jim Carrey's first appearance in this was Jim Carrey, so young, not yet Gumbified.
But then he does do that shouldery thing when he's talking to the nurse or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, that was like in the beginning, wasn't that? Like in the blood drive. Have you guys ever given blood? I got a blood drive story.
Yeah,
go for it.
Oh, man. So in high school, we had a blood drive, and it was in the library there at school. So I went, and it's the only time I've ever actually been able to give blood. So I did it, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh, man, this is pretty neat. I've never done this before. Would it be cool if I held the bag? And the nurse is like, oh, yeah, you can hold the bag. And so I'm holding it, and it's just filling up with my own blood in my hands. And I'm looking.
Quite hot.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. You think it would come out body temperature, and you wouldn't notice it, but it's much warmer. But I guess if you pee on your hands, it's about the same too. Blood is pee. And so I'm sitting there, like, looking at this bag filling up in my hands, and I look across, and there's this girl who, like, they were just putting her feet up and getting her, like, the little towel for her head because she was having trouble. And I was looking at her, and then I looked down at my bag of blood. Then I looked at her, and I just, like, slowly put the bag of blood up on my face. And I just, like, pretended to gnaw on the corner of it while it was still filling up with my blood. And so she passed the fuck out. She just immediately fainted. And I just went back to holding my blood bag, and then the nurse came and like took care of the girl. And then I had a cookie.
You were like a national treasure and a crime at the same time. I don't get it.
Oh man.
I mean, in the National Treasure movies, he does commit crimes.
Yeah. So that's the only time I've given blood.
I've donated blood and then ran a foot race the next morning.
That was good.
And that was the worst decision of my life.
Remember that time you thought you could go running after you had a vasectomy? That was nearly the worst decision of your life. Good thing you have a wife to set you straight.
I don't know, maybe not. He went to bed on Christmas, and when he woke up, she wasn't there. Neither were his kids.
It's true. I was home alone. I thought I broke my toe. I almost locked myself out of the house when it was 11 degrees outside. Yeah, it's dangerous not having a wife sometimes.
I think we could use Eric. We could remake Home Alone, but with like an adult man.
This actually tracks pretty well. You've got a little Culkin in you.
Oh, I'd just be in my PJs the whole time, setting booby traps. Oh, Marissa and the kids are going to be terrified when they get home. Just paint cans swinging from everywhere.
Yeah, it will be a more realistic story. They actually come back from the airport when they're like, why the fuck isn't Eric here? And then they go home to get you and it's already booby trapped and you're just beating the shit out of your wife without you knowing it. Setting off fireworks in the house. The local Facebook page is just going crazy. Were those fireworks or gunshots?
So Peggy Sue got married.
Somebody put dog poop in my garbage again.
Yeah, Peggy Sue Got Married.
So she goes back in time. The first thing, she's a high schooler. First thing she does is make herself a stiff drink.
Oh yeah, she goes straight for the whiskey.
She goes straight for the liquor cabinet.
I kind of like that. They're like, are you drunk? And she's like, that would explain things.
She was like, it doesn't matter. I'm dead.
She got right into it the same way Nick Cage got right into it when he went to that Christmas party in the last movie.
Straight for the bourbon.
Straight for the whiskey and just like two
and then
back to back.
I do give Nick Cage's character credit because it took him almost 8 weeks to finally sleep with his wife. And Peggy Sue, as a 45-year-old woman, was immediately like, I'm going to sleep with a 17-year-old kid.
Tried to get with Nick Cage, and then he was like, I don't know if I can handle this.
Okay, hang on. We got to talk about that scene because that's my favorite quote.
Oh, obviously.
Wait,
it's the best quote.
Do you want to do a reading? I have it here.
Do you have the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I kind of do.
Wait, no, I have part of it. So
why don't you do that part?
All right. So
and then we all say the line together.
What you mean sex? Intercourse? You want to have intercourse? Last weekend you said, what time is it? Holy cow, it's late.
And then I don't have all the exact quotes, but she's like,
I have
come on.
No,
bring out Lucky Chucky. Bring out the love machine, your throbbing thrill hammer.
Your thing.
Wow. I don't remember that.
You mean my wang?
You mean my wang?
Wang.
Best line in the movie.
It was amazing.
And he's so terrified when he says it too. My wang.
Just, he made so many great choices in this film, acting-wise. When he sneaks into a room later in the film to yell at her, he's got the sneaky fingers.
Oh, what the fuck was that? He was going to put a pillow over her face.
I totally thought he was going with the pillow.
And then he takes her down in the basement.
I'm like, what's in the basement? But no, when he's on her, like, outside her window, like, tiptoeing, and he's doing, like, these creepy, like, extended fingers, like, curling. Sneaky fingers.
Okay, we have to talk about her grandparents.
Yes. You mean the cult she gets almost sacrificed to?
I feel like that just came out of nowhere.
I'm not going
They were like, we need to end this movie.
Yeah,
we'll just, like, give her to her grandparents who just know what to do. They're like, oh, this is fine. We'll send you to the future.
We had an Irish time traveler.
Yeah.
I don't know. That seemed like a perfectly normal lodge activity. I've experienced some lodge activities that had about the same amount of theatricality to them, and I'm like, yeah, it's not a lodge without a hat. That's true. They would perform these kind of just silly rituals as a reason to get together before they drink and watch stag movies.
They're still gonna watch stag movies and play cards.
I will say her grandfather did get
why was that still the plan when his granddaughter was there? It's like, oh, my granddaughter is coming around. We're gonna do this weird little thing and then I don't know, bust out the pornos and start playing a little hold'em. She can sit in the car. She can serve us drinks because it's the 60s or whatever.
No, I actually wrote this down. They were going to play. There's a lot of Parcheesi talk.
Oh, yeah.
And I wrote that down because I wrote down, I still don't know what Parcheesi is.
Oh, it's the horniest game. I don't know that we've actually talked about any of these movies.
Well, I was about to talk about something about this movie. So, again, we have a reverse big. So, she says
we
in
told some jokes.
She says
it's pretty good for us.
She says in the future she had a crush on this one kid. He's into poetry. He wears a leather jacket. He drinks coffee at night in corners of cafes.
He also had a burrito at Disneyland one time.
That was the smart kid. The smart kid was just like, time's like a burrito.
Michael was my favorite as far as the time travel trysts that she went back to revisit because of his end game. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
like,
He wanted to
game
go live in
plan?
a commune.
Yeah, it's
In-
polyamory, baby.
I've
Yeah.
got this
Yeah.
other chick, but I love how immediately he just gets upset. He goes like, polygamy is legal in
Yeah.
Utah.
Not polyamory, polygamy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
sorry.
wanted sister wives.
Absolutely. And she's like, you love having
This
a
was
sister wife.
1986. Sorry.
You'll work together and I'll be happy. And like,
You can each darn one of my socks. That's half the work for each of you.
I mean, that's a good deal. But yeah, so like every guy she knew when she was trying to change her life in the past was just like, no, let's get married and you'll just be my wife.
Yeah.
That's what she was fated to do.
I guess that's just life or relationships in the 60s, from my experience.
As being a teenage girl from the 60s.
Yeah.
so when did you guys know that Richard was a genius? Was it when he was going to write a book about kites?
I mean, they just told you he was a genius from the outset.
Yeah, but when was it really made real for you? When did it sink in?
Because for me, it was when he goes, I'm writing a book about kite design. Like, kites, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone's got to monetize that.
That would sell really well on like the ocean shores, kind of like boardwalk, right next to a corn dog. Get your book about kites.
Yeah, no, don't buy a kite. Here's how to make your own.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, Nick Cage does some singing.
That's where one of my favorite quotes comes in. I think after he does a song, she's talking about Richard or something, and he goes, who needs physics when we've got chemistry?
That is good.
It was amazing.
Speaking of his music career, I do like how she tries to like set him on the right course to have a great career when they don't get together. She writes him a song, and then later on he comes like, pretty good song for a first timer, but I changed all the yes to O's. She loves you, oh, oh, oh.
I think the scene where she's watching him with the quartet,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh God, he's kind of good, isn't he?"
When she didn't expect him to see him performing with the R&B group or
No,
whatever.
this is the earlier one where
Oh,
it's with
oh,
Jim
okay.
Carrey.
I love the secret band.
No,
Yeah,
the Secret
his
Band
secret
actually-
band was pretty good.
That was pretty good, but yeah, with the quartet themselves, I couldn't get over like one, how fucking corny he looked, and then two, the ending to that song killed me.
Bye
where-
bye.
Yeah, I think that we now have an outro. So
But man, he had some fucking moves. His
Oh.
hips were doing things that my brain couldn't comprehend. He was making love.
So, at what point in Peggy Sue did she... It took, like, till the end of the movie till she was concerned about her status, like, in the past. You know, she was in the past, and she was just not...
Well, she thought she
Concerned.
was dead.
Was that it?
Yeah. She the whole time she's like, I'm dead, it doesn't matter. And then they do the Are You Dead test when the smart
Oh,
kid,
yeah.
the kite kid
Just
was
stand
like,
in front of a bus.
stand in front of a bus, and if the bus goes through, you're dead.
Yep. Good call.
Would have been a much different film.
Just stand in front of a bus, and that'll prove everything.
that was his second book.
Or, sorry, that was a fire truck, and I love the fire truck.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
just, like, doing the like, Austin Powers steamroller thing.
Yeah,
They're
it was
like,
get out of the way.
get out of the way! And she's like, no.
Just like that. No. Sorry.
I don't know if I'm dead or not.
And so, yeah, eventually at the end of this film, she wakes up. Apparently it was like a heart murmur. She had like a heart episode. So she actually was in the hospital when she wakes up, and Charlie's there. And she forgives him, kind of, and invites him over for dinner with their family.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
she
she does.
chooses not to change anything in her life.
Yeah. So this movie has a much more downer ending than...
Oh, no, come on. It was great. She, like, asked him if he was still with that bimbo, and he's like, oh, like, I got tired of translating everything for her. And, like, basically, oh, she was dumb, and
You're
I got
such a
sick
good
of her.
Shirley.
And, like, let's get back together now. She actually says to him, you can move back into your house with your kids. Like, just open arms. Just, I don't know. She had a stroke at the reunion, and she's just like, I forgive you completely.
Well, I mean, she went back in time and realized that just like no matter what, she was just going to be a housewife. So might as well be a housewife to the pseudo celebrity,
The appliance king of Santa
Lazy
Rosa.
Charlie.
What did you think of his performances overall?
Oh,
Chef's kiss. Mwah. This was he. I mean, he convinced Francis Ford Coppola to let him do it.
Oh yeah,
He performed somewhere.
So Francis Ford Coppola, he saw that when it started, and he asked him to stop.
Oh, no.
Is that how it worked?
He hated it. The crew hated it.
Kathleen Turner
Kathleen
really hated
Turner
it.
hated it. But she didn't feel it was her job to critique another actor's performance, so she complained to Francis Ford Coppola, who Nick Cage had convinced to let him do this, so they just let it happen, and she just let that play into her disdain for Charlie.
that's fine.
Well, then what? How did she get back to her normal time frame? Because what? Grandpa was going to send her back.
Yeah, they had sex.
And then Charlie
Charlie
abducted
blackbagged
her.
her.
Yeah,
In the
I
middle
love
of the
that. Just toss a bag over her and
That
throw
was-
her in a van.
That was such a surprise for me.
Oh,
Well, then there was like a lightning storm or something,
Yeah.
and then she just woke up.
Well, like they had sex, and her child was conceived, so the timeline was fixed, and then she woke up.
Okay, so this was like a hot tub time machine situation where you have to keep the timeline
Yeah.
accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unlike The Family Man, where those children never existed, apparently when she went back in time, it did happen because the poet kid.
Right, he writes a book about
Yeah, right.
fucking her.
Yeah, well, he dedicated a book to her, even though in high school they never talked originally.
Yeah, that's the proof.
time travel's real.
Apparently, all you need to do is have like a heart attack during your 25th high school reunion after being crowned reunion queen.
That
A
had
totally
some-
real thing.
That had some fucking Carrie vibes to it too. I don't know if you guys felt that.
Oh man, yeah.
I did not want them to leave the reunion. I was having so much fun at the reunion. If my reunion looks like that,
So-
I'm pretty sure I'm not invited, but
One of her friends.
I'd like to go if it's all cocaine.
Or-
Just like trying to sleep
Oh,
with
yeah.
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
that you went to high school
Whatever Walter wants, Walter gets. Hell yeah.
Whatever Walter wants, Walter gets.
We talked about kind of the making of it and who was originally supposed to do it. Apparently, at one point, Steve Guttenberg was considered for Charlie.
Would have been fine.
He wrote about this, and here's the fun fact. The fun fact has nothing to do with Peggy Sue Got Married. The fun fact is Steve Guttenberg's talked about this in his autobiography, The Gutenberg Bible.
I
read that his autobiography is called The Gutenberg Bible, and I'm like, I'm going to talk about that on my
I have
podcast.
to buy that book.
So, I thought that I read that Kathleen Turner got an Oscar nod.
This was her one Oscar nod for her one Oscar nominated performance.
Okay, I thought that she won, but that's not the case. She did not. She was nominated, but that I thought was surprising enough.
I thought she did a great job. I thought the performance was good.
Movies were weird
Yeah,
in the 80s.
it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was fine.
Outside of the voice being an issue, apparently Nicolas Cage and Kathleen Turner had other headbutting because she claimed that he was arrested twice and had stolen a dog.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I hope he stole that dog.
So Eric, which movie do you think should go on?
Like, honestly, I
Keep in mind that it doesn't matter what you think.
I came in with a clear favorite, but like I think Peggy Sue is more fun to like watch again and again. I'll Stand by Family Man is like a good Christmas movie, overlooked, but I think Peggy Sue's just more. It's wacky.
All right, Nick, what's the better Cage film?
So the real opinions are that no, he's right. Peggy Sue Got Married is a more entertaining movie to watch.
It definitely has jokes and doesn't take itself overly seriously.
Yeah, Family Man is only serious.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
there's
weirdly
not a lot of it. Like it's not a romantic comedy.
No.
There's not that much comedy.
No,
Or
Yeah.
romance.
The Family Man.
It was a fine watch. I'm glad I watched it.
Fine watch, and for a feel-good holiday film, it's kind of a downer.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I think we should have more depressing Christmas movies. We should go back in time and make a Labor Day movie where somebody dies in the 9/11 accident. And that's like how the movie concludes. When does
Wait,
Labor Day happen?
No, wait, there was a
Labor
movie.
Day
There's a
came out.
movie starring Batman, starring Robert Pattinson, where it's just about two teenagers in love, and the film literally ends with him like going to see his father's office, and he turns around and there's just a plane coming to the building,
Yeah,
and it zooms out.
and
It's the
with
World Trade
9/11.
Center.
That's a weird way for Twilight to happen. I don't know these movies. I can only assume he's been in The Lighthouse, Twilight, and The Batman.
Well,
No,
we did have
He was also in the Harry Potters.
we did have a
Well, the
Twin
one Harry
Towers
Potter.
Twin Tower
Yeah, he
show.
was. He was the one who died.
Yeah, he was.
He got killed and motivated everyone to be like, "Oh, Voldemort."
Yeah, before he was in a Twilight, he was in a Harry Potter. So yeah, I think it's Peggy Sue Got Married is definitely the more entertaining watch. Oh, my argument for The Family Man was gonna be like, it's more of an actual Nick Cage film, but it's not the better film.
I would call it the better film. I just don't think it's like more fun or like rewatchable.
Yeah, if I want to enjoy a performance by Nicolas Cage,
I'm gonna definitely choose the Sex Pest film, which Peggy Sue Got Married. Peggy Sue's the reverse Sex Pest film, and it's about time.
Did you guys get?
is that an allusion to The Pest with John Leguizamo?
Yes.
So good.
No, The Sex Pest. Just Leguizamo on a sex journey.
Did you guys get to?
We're talking about the Mario Brother movie, right?
Yeah, why not? Do you see it when he gave it to that Goomba?
Okay, we're calling it now. All right, so
That's your outro, Peter.
yeah, our next episode is City of Angels against Kiss of Death. That'll be an interesting one. Hey, if you want to be a patron and pitch dumb ideas to Sean, you can.
Yeah.
That's not part of the Sparkle Buddy tier.
It's
For
part of the Sparkle
$5
Bubble.
a month, you can corner Sean at the bar
Yep.
and just tell him all your
Anything
awesome
you
ideas.
want.
No.
Yep.
No.
So Josh,
For $10 a month, you get his phone number.
you all can corner Sean anytime.
Yeah.
Also, other
Ira, you get to
Text him
have
late at night.
Sean's phone number by being into the Cage Club.
Yeah.
Thank you. Please rate, review, and
So, hold on. Wait.
Comment down below.
We've decided that $5 are our Sparkle Buddies. Is $10? Oh, the inner cage.
oh, the
Ooh,
inner cage
I like
is good.
that.
Nice.
It's like
There-
inner
there-
circle, but cage.
There was totally an episode of Baywatch where Hulk Hogan had to fight Roddy Piper for the.
You. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening. Eric, thank you for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
We appreciate you being here.
Cheers. Happy COVID.
I hope you guys enjoy it now too.
I got everybody a gift for having me on the show. I hope you like COVID. It's all I got.
I already had it.
Bye bye.
I was really bummed when like things don't work out with him when she breaks up with him that he doesn't go and invent grunge music early.
Just goes straight from barbershop to
Yeah,
to Black Hole Sun.
yeah.
Can you imagine if grunge actually came out of Central California? Like, it's just kind of sunny and shit. Things aren't bad. It's
So-
like there's nothing
It
like
goes
environmentally terrible
It goes from
happening around you all the
grunge
time.
to Smash Mouth,
Yeah.
just directly.
I watched The Core the other night.
Did you really?
Yeah, actually,
Without me?
yeah, we watched it last night. So it was our Christmas evening movie that we watched.
Wow, that must have been after I left.
What
Yeah,
did
it
you
was
think?
after you left. It was pretty fucking awesome.
Had you
I
seen
could
it
not
before?
believe there were so many people in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's got everybody.
I'm assuming this is a callback to the last episode.
No.
No,
Oh, because I know you and I have talked the core.
yeah.
I talk about the core all the time because
Yeah.
that movie fucking rules.
And I was like hinging when I saw it. And then I was like, it's 2 hours. It'll be like 11 o'clock when it's done. Well, better just put it on. And I did not regret it. It was so weird. What?
Everything pays out. Like,
Why do they
fucking
end up in a
whales
huge
sing.
fucking geode or
I don't know, man. It doesn't matter.
Right,
Welcome
they
to
get
Peter.
broken down and they're like, all right, we got to get out for a little while.
Yeah,
as they're
right?
drilling to the center of the
center
earth.
of
it's
the
like good thing our suits can handle this atmospheric
Unobtainium,
pressure.
man.
Unobtainium.
Welcome to Peter and Nick talk about the core.
So yeah, our next
This is a podcast.
our
and
next
a podcast.
podcast is going to be just us watching the core week in, week out.
Yeah, next
Loving
time somebody
every
gets
aspect of
COVID,
it.
this is
No.
the plan. We're just
So
talking
good.
about the car.